Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, July 21st, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the LaCroix Poppy himself, aka my fellow Forbes 30 under 30, aka the man with an amazing gold chain right now,
Thank you.
Tim
Thank you.
Fucking Geddes.
It's been my fidget spinner for a while, but I was like, you know what? Wearing the black long sleeve shirt, it just feels right. I need to get the shorter one. This one's still way too long because I got this one as a joke. Bless. When I realized I should have not done
That's
that.
what they always. I got it ironically. I got the gold chain ironically.
No.
Until you start wearing it and you realize that it's fly.
No. I got the long gold chain ironically.
Okay.
Because my Sonic one was too short, but I should have three bears it. You know what I mean? I wanted the gold chain. There was no irony about that. But my Sonic one was more like a choker.
Like
I was looking like a 16-year-old girl in 2002. You know what I mean? But then I went too long.
I know exactly what you mean, Tim.
Yeah. So now I gotta meet it in the middle somewhere. But
where do you plan to take your chain fashion anywhere in the future? Are you planning to get more? Are you planning to get more pendants?
Well, I did see this super dope Pomeranian that's like,
oh hell yeah,
amazing. But it might end there. But who knows? You know what I mean? I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to limit my self-discovery. Having said that, I am not that much of a explorer. You know what I mean? I find what I like and I stick to my lane.
For me, the shadow chain has definitely opened me up to accessories a bit more. And like ever since I started rocking the shadow chain, I've been trying to expand my chain collection. And by collection, I mean right now I only have one. But I've been ordering more, and I've been fucking up. And skipping out on price is not the best decision when it comes to chains, because like there's not good quality. Like I'm not getting anything else that is matching up to the dopeness of the shadow chain. And it's
not is rings, because motherfuckers look dope with rings. But I don't like things.
How do you think about watches?
All his fingies needs are fidgety spinnies, you know.
You just need something to fidget with. That's how you know it's ball. That's how you know you're
having things on me. It's not just my fingies, it's my wristies too.
Series of its admittedly immature charms. Well, I recently went hands-on with the first 4 hours of the game, and as you'll see in my video above, the world of Saints Row may have been rebooted, but the gameplay grounded for some, as Santo Ileso feels just as empty and lifeless as previous gameplay snippets have suggested. The new characters, fan favorites, and while they may grow on me with extended playtime, they're currently in giving the player a nice big Havoc simulator to mess around in their combat sections, but I basically snoozed my way through them. It wasn't until I went off on my own and caused carnage in the open world that I really started to have fun. And once I was on a roll, the game's unpredictability often had me laughing out.
That Blessed, you got to play it.
It's definitely an open world game, and it's definitely a Saints Row game, and I think that is for better and for worse. I had a fun time with it. By the time I finished my 4 hours, I actually wanted to keep playing. And I think a lot of that comes down to the open. A lot of that then extends out into Saints Row, right? Where Saints Row started off as this GTA clone and eventually kind of grew into itself and became its own thing. But at its heart, you are hanging out in an open world. You're taking on the humor of Saints Row. And for me, this reboot works in a lot of the places that matters. I think the biggest instance of me really enjoying the game was during my demo, where I got access to the open world and I was like, the game does a really good job of creating moments for you to just fuck around and do whatever and play around with what's available in the city. Like they have the handful of activities that people are probably already familiar with if they've played a Saints Row before. They have the insurance fraud mini games, where it is you going out into the streets, and one where I forget what it's called, but there's a mini game where you toss yourself into the air and you have a wingsuit and you're trying to fly from spot to spot and then take out. I think makes these games fun to play, and I think this reboot, or you probably already. You know what I'm talking about, because it drives like those previous Saints Row games, right? And I think all that stuff kind of flies by the wayside, and I forget. And out of San Andreas, and I think that is purely the maybe medium town Nevada setting, where it feels like a mix of Reno and Vegas. There are a lot of outskirts compared to previous Saints Row games where you are, driving and doing like a lot of off-roading. That stuff I really like for what this open world is. And then you get to the customization, and the customization is awesome as well, right? There's the character customization that you come to expect from Saints Row in terms of being able to get deep into not only outfits, but voice, and also the size of your junk, and also like all the immature bits that you want to customize in a Saints Row game. They let you do those things. You also do have the vehicle customization, which, like previous Saints Row games, once again, is really great. But I also think pushes things a bit further. I was really happy when I stole a random car, brought it into the car customization place, and really decked out my vehicle in terms of off-road wheels that made it look completely different color schemes, different materials. I was really satisfied with how my car looked, and it un-GTAs itself in the way that, for folks who have played GTAs, especially like Rockstar games recently, there's a realism there that can be so realistic that it gets frustrating, where you crash your car and it's like, all right, let me call Moore's Mutual Insurance so I can pick it back up, so I can go through the motions. Oh, if I want to save this car, I got to go to my garage. I got to do all this thing. Saints Row streamlines all that shit. And if you're somebody who's like, oh, I don't like how tedious the GTA games are, Saints Row does such a great job of, there was a time I crashed my car and I was like, fuck, damn, I really like that car. And then I went to the next mission and they were like, oh yeah, here's the car. Like the car is right there. Right. It is so arcadey in that way. And I think a lot of that really uplifts it. But it's definitely imperfect in a lot of places. I think a lot of that just comes down to polish and bugs and game feel. But if you're somebody who likes Saints Row and have liked Saints Row in the past, it continues to be more of that. And if you've put up with it in the previous games, you're gonna be fine in this game. I think this game, even in combat, feels marginally better than the previous games. And I liked my experience with it.
So having played the preview, are you now like anticipating this release more? Like, is this now like higher up your list of I can't wait to play it? Or are you just kind of like, oh yeah, no, this just proved that as excited as I was, I still am?
I think it's increased my anticipation. I think a lot of that is it reminding me that Saints Row is fun. I think we've lost a lot of that over the years, mainly because Saints Row's not been around for a while. The last numbered Saints Row game was Saints Row 4, and that was what, 2012, 2013. And then you had Gat Out of Hell, that was like this standalone expansion type situation. But like since then, we've not had Saints Row. We had Agents of Mayhem from Volition, which, if you remember, was whack as hell. Like I tried playing Agents of Mayhem and I was like, this is just not it. And so it's been a while since we've had one of these. And I think for me, and probably plenty of people, Saints Row hype has died down, especially because video games have come such a long way. And Saints Row feels like such a 2010 game. It feels like such a mid-2000s game. And it being a GTA clone and it having its kind of sense of humor in it, having its kind of open world structure. When they announced it, I think me and a lot of people were like, all right, cool, more Saints Row, like I guess. Playing it, I'm like, okay, no, I'm ready to play this. I kind of put it in that Dying Light 2 section of, I don't think it's going to be my top 5 or top 10 maybe, but I do think that once I get into the motions of it, I'm going to have a lot of fun with it, just playing it as an open world game and clearing through the activities. And maybe if I get into it enough, maybe going for the platinum and having that, like, that open world cycle of, let me just checklist through everything, because I like driving around in a fun open world and I like radio stations. And let me tell you, the music in this game is awesome. There is a hip hop station where, and I think this is like timed with the gameplay, but the song is also in the station. The first time you get notoriety from the cops and you're getting chased, they play Sound of the Police by KRS-One. And let me tell you, during my preview, I was like, fuck yes, this is what I want. And the game has moments like that. The game kind of knows what it's doing. It reminds me of Saints Row 3, where there's a scene in that game where there's a scene in Saints Row 3 where you are in a helicopter and you're approaching like a top floor, like a roof penthouse. So you're gonna jump from the helicopter on top of, and as you're doing it, Power by Kanye West plays. For me, that was the moment of Saints Row 3. I was like, these guys get it. The Sound of the Police thing wasn't quite that, but it was like giving flares of that, where I was like, yeah, all right, this is what Saints Row is. I'm fucking digging this. Let's fucking go. So yeah, I'm looking more forward to it after my demo.
I love that. I love when games have like licensed music moments that are like scripted in that way, where it's like trying to use the song to intensify the gameplay and like make you feel like a badass. And I feel like Saints Row has always been good at that. So it's good they're continuing to have those moments. Yeah,
they're definitely continuing to have it. One of the previews that I read mentioned that the characters aren't as standout as some of the previous Saints Row characters. I agree with that. I don't think it's impossible for them to get there. The game setup is basically you are a dude, you and your friends are part of these different factions slash gangs, but you're still like a group of friends, and you're definitely in that like millennial Gen Z era of like probably like mid-20s. You go to work for this military organization, like this I think they call it like a multinational private military company, and after your first few days you're kind of sick of it, and then shit goes down where you and your friends are like, yo, what if we just start up our own thing? And it's basically you making this startup gang, and it has this millennial, like young millennial energy to it that I think can come off as eye rolly, but I think works for it. I do hope that there is more we get in terms of memorable and iconic characters, because this is a reboot. I've not seen any returning characters. I've not seen, was it Johnny Gat? Is his name Johnny Gat? I always forget his name, but I've not seen that dude. I've not seen any of like the characters you know and love for the previous Saints Row. But I think if this game is able to get to the place maybe part way through where I am looking at characters and I'm like, okay, no, I like you, you're gonna stick with me, then I think that might take it to a better place. But tone wise and story wise, I think I still might prefer some of the previous ones. But gameplay wise, I think it has all the stuff that it needs. Oh, one more thing I do want to shout out to in terms of gameplay. When you're getting into police chases, there's a maneuver they call sideswiping that is basically like burnout, like you take other cars out by like bumping into them. It's new for this game. I fucking love it. I really like this thing. It's a bit like this game's version of the pit maneuver that you do in GTA, where you're trying to take people out that way, but there's like an actual button for it, and your car legit like jukes to the left or jukes to the right, and like hits the car, and like it takes off car health off the other cars. That's very new, and I fucking love it. I think it really works. So shout out to Saints Row.
Hell yeah.
Let's get into story number 2. Another roundup for you. This time it is Live Alive. Live Alive has a review embargo that is lifted. Right now it's sitting on Metacritic at an 82 and an 81 on OpenCritic. I'm going to start off with Rebecca Valentine at IGN, who gave it a 9 out of 10 and says, Live Alive is a fascinating piece of JRPG history that's more than worthy of the energy Square Enix has spent to remake it for a global audience with a beautiful new art style decades later. Its unusual vignette structure and lovable ensemble cast are a delight to spend time with, especially thanks to the addition of voice acting. The ultimate story payoff remains surprising and standout among JRPGs, even decades later after its original iteration. Its 7 different characters each make inventive and surprising use of the deceptively simple combat system, which adds even more flavor to the most challenging optional boss fights. The remake could have put a bit more work into mitigating some of the original's more tedious grinds toward the end, but by the time that grind kicks in, Live Alive had enough hooks stuck in me that I couldn't put it down until I jammed out to Megalomania for the final time. And then Andrew Reiner at Game Informer also gave it a 9 out of 10 and says, I went into Live Alive expecting the time capsule experience of unearthing a long-lost Super Nintendo RPG from Takashi Tokita, one of the creators of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV. Two of the best games ever made. Even with Live Alive's design roots stretching back to 1994, little about it feels classic. The colorful, pixelated characters scream of that era, but most of the game is inventive, modern, and delightfully goofy, and sometimes shockingly profane. It's unlike anything else out there, delivering an unpredictable and joyous adventure that changes its narrative and gameplay foundation every couple of hours. We'll never know how Live Alive would have fared in the US back in the day. Flash forward nearly 3 decades, and I can't recommend this revitalized relic enough. It's that good. This is another must-play Switch RPG that entertains in ways I didn't expect and kept me glued to the screen for well over 20 hours. And then I also posted my review to the TikTok edited by the wonderful editing team that Roger runs. Bear, if you're able to pull that up and play it for the audience, I give it a 5 out of 5. Live Alive is one of the best games of the year and one of the most unique JRPGs I've ever played. It's an anthology game, so think like Black Mirror or Love, Death, and Robots, where you're getting a bunch of smaller stories in this one JRPG game. Each story takes place in a different era. There's a prehistoric caveman story, a far future story where you play as a robot, a western cowboy tale, and a handful of others unique with their own gameplay twists and characters. The thing that holds them together is a turn-based strategy combat system that held my interest as someone who doesn't even tend to like strategy. The fighting is simple, fun, and a variety of movesets from game to game keeps things interesting. The writing in each of the scenarios is also top-notch. Each story has something to say or something fresh to add to the genre it's homaging. There's a sense of humor here that is sorely missed from many other games. The soundtrack is great, composed by Yoko Shimomura of Kingdom Hearts. It's also a visual delight, bringing a classic Super Nintendo game into the present with vibrant HD 2D pixel art. There's so much here to love. If you're looking for your next game for Nintendo Switch, it's a must play because Live Alive is one of the best games of. There you have it.
Hell yeah, man. I am so happy that you beat the game, loved the game. Like that's so damn cool because this isn't necessarily the type of game that would be in your normal wheelhouse, right? So like I think it's great that they can take this old game that was never even in America, give it some fun updates, and Blessing loves it. That's great.
Yeah, like I mean, for a testament of how much I love this game, I was triple fisting video games the last few weeks, where we had our As Dusk Falls review that we are doing, we had our Stray review, and those were the more like required ones that I was doing. Not that you guys like ever required me to play any of these games, but we had Gamescast scheduled for those ones, and I know like it'll be beneficial for content if I play through those games. So like those were games where I was like, okay, I got to play these games, and Live Alive was the one where nobody was asking me to play Live Alive. Like absolutely nobody was asking me to play Live Alive.
Like, I'm doing this for myself.
I'm doing this for me because I got maybe about 6 hours into the game, and I was like, I fucking gotta just play this game because I fucking love it. And I wasn't even planning to have it done for the review. I just enjoyed it that much where I couldn't stop playing it. I
wasn't expecting it so much, Bless, that I talked to our Nintendo PR guy yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, what's your plan for the Live Alive thing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're just gonna talk about our games daily. Like we're not. Don't worry. Don't look for our stuff at embargo. Like whatever." He's like, "Okay, cool." And then this morning I wake up and I see this, and I was like, "Oh, whoa, hey!"
It's like, "Oh yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 and kind of funny."
Yeah, exactly. I need to send him the video.
You played Octopath Traveler, right?
I never beat it, but I played the majority of it.
As somebody who played through Octopath, does this do anything for you?
Oh, definitely. I actually think that I'd prefer to play this. Like this, I am very excited about this one. I love the HD 2D stuff is just some of the nicest looking art style I've ever seen. And I love how just weird this all looks. And I'm also really into the vignette idea. I like how like the shorter burst storylines, I think could be a really cool thing.
Yeah, and that's for me what held me through. You know, like Octopath was a game that I wanted to get into, and I like honestly I don't even remember why I couldn't get into it. I think it was probably a mixture of not having the time, and then also it just not immediately grabbing me in that way, especially knowing that there's a handful of different storylines to do. Funny enough, Live Alive has a similar setup, but because all the stories are very contained within themselves, and it is just a series of vignettes, all of what any of the stories are asking from you is like maybe 2 hours each. And getting into the first one that I did, the first one I did was like the present day story, which was basically this Street Fighter, like you're a fighter who's traveling around the world to fight all these different martial arts masters to become the best one. That was a 45 minutes to an hour long JRPG story, and that was the first one I played. And once I finished it, I was like, oh, that was easy, and like that was a fun time. Let me hop into the next one. And they all average out at around 2 hours, but you feel like you're getting a full experience out of each of them because the leveling is there. The combat system is the same through each of the different vignettes, but the movesets are so wildly different and unique to where even when I get into combat, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to really think differently in this game that I'm thinking in a different vignette, right? Because it is, oh, this guy's more area of effect as opposed to this person that's more close range, as opposed to this character that was more, long range. And also the writing and the way they tackle different types of storytelling in the game was a thing that blew me away as well. I mentioned in the TikTok that there's a cowboy story, there's a future story, there's a caveman story. The caveman story has no dialogue in it. It is them communicating through emotes basically, and like archaic caveman language that like is basically just shouting. And that was a thing that I'd never seen in a JRPG, and they're able to tell a 2-hour long story with that, right? And then like the game does a lot of creative things like that, where each of the vignettes have something unique that they do, where I'm like, shit, that's really cool, that's different. Oh man, let me play the 2 hours to see where this goes. And I had such a fantastic time with it.
Is it all sequential, or can you choose any storyline you want?
You can choose any storyline you want. So there's 7 of them, and they're all available from the start.
That's
wow.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can play it in any order.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Would you consider this a Game of the Year contender for yourself?
For myself, Game of the Year contender is tough because Elden Ring exists. In a world where Elden Ring didn't exist, the answer is yes. In the world where Elden Ring...
I'm not saying like it's definitely Game of the Year, but do you think it deserves to be in that conversation?
For me, yes. I think for industry-wide, I don't know if it's going to get that amount of praise because I think it is a bit more niche, and it's going to be more targeted for an audience that really likes this type of game. But for me, I think it's going to end up in my top 3. I have it in that right now. It's in that Sifu range for me, where I think I also gave Sifu a 5 out of 5. And I think Sifu is probably right under Elden Ring for me right now. I think Live Alive is definitely going to be battling out with Sifu, and probably honestly, it's probably way above Sifu for me at this moment, because the writing, the combat, the gameplay, all of that hits so well for me. And just like Sifu was when I played it, Sifu was unlike anything I had played at the time. Live Alive even more so is unlike any other JRPG I've played. It also, it also hits things I've loved about some of my favorite games. I think, namely Undertale. Undertale seems like a game that probably took some influence from, and not even probably, I think Toby Fox himself has talked about Live Alive, and Megalomania, one of the songs in the game, influenced heavily Megalovania from Undertale. And a lot of what I love about Undertale in terms of the writing, the humor, the energy of it, does shine through as well in Live Alive. And so I think a lot of that is why the game is hitting for me so well. And I think
saying I should play this game.
Yes, I'm saying 100%, Barrett, you should check out this game. And even like I was texting Greg, and I was like, Greg, as somebody who likes video game stories, I think even you should like this game, or even you should play this game, because I think it is an approachable JRPG in a way that JRPGs can oftentimes, I think, shut out a lot of the audience, because they are, deep in combat system, and the stories have like a certain energy and all this stuff. Live Alive, I think, opens itself up to being way more playable than the traditional JRPG, even though it's way more unique in a lot of its setup and tone. So yeah, if you have a Switch or you're looking for a new JRPG to play, I'd 100% recommend Live Alive.
Weird question before we move on. Is it worth playing even if you're just going to play one of the vignettes? Like, are the stories like complete enough in that, like, the 2-hour vignette, or do you need to keep playing?
You need to keep playing.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's so tough to talk about without like getting into super detail, because I think that the game does really cool things with its vignettes that like make the whole experience special as a package. Like, it's not just the standalone, oh, I'm jumping into this just to play the caveman story. I do think the whole game comes together in a way that really makes it special as a whole package. That said, if you come in and you just play the caveman thing, or you just play the cowboy story, I think that is enough for maybe like a night, right? Like, if you're going into it with that commitment, and then going, oh, I'll play the rest later, I think that's fine to do. The way I played it is I did one vignette a night / a day, because I was like, all right, cool, let me knock this thing out. Next day, all right, let me knock the cowboy out. Next day, let me knock the caveman out. And that was such a fun way to do it, because it was like a nice daily story for me. That's how I watched Black Mirror as well. When I was watching through that show, I watched one episode a day, and I think it's such a great way to go about playing that game. But yeah, I would definitely recommend playing through the whole thing if you're gonna pick it up. Tim, before we get into the next news story, I want to let people out there know about patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where you can go and get the show ad free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Are people still trying to make plans with you this summer? As if you aren't booked and busy already. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to help make this summer the most comfortable one you will never forget. Because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to worry about is butt sweat. And I know that from experience. But you know what? MeUndies has always been there to help me. I'm always wearing my MeUndies shirts, my lounge pants, my lounge shorts, my undies themselves, the socks. I'm a MeUndies fanboy. Wouldn't have it any other way. I just absolutely love the soft micro-modal fabric. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small all the way up to 4XL. MeUndies has a great offer for all of you out there. For any first-time purchasers, you can get 15% off for a limited time. If you sign up for the free to join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. To get 50% off your order, 25% off your first membership item, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny. Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Well, you don't want random passerbyers looking in on you, so why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Your internet service provider knows every single website you visit. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices, whether it's my phone, my desktop, everything. Anytime I'm using the internet, just because I am trying to stay as safe as possible. The best part is using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. You just fire up the app, You click one button and you're protected. It is so easy. It's the biggest button in the world. One click, you're done. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. You can use our link, expressvpn.com/kindafunny, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode. I started taking AG1 because I'm not a big pill guy. I don't want to spend a lot of time on extra things, but I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of my health. Now, I've been using it the last couple months and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It has a fun tropical taste that I actually look forward to in the morning. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focused, and aging. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. athleticgreens.com/kindafunny.
Let's hop into story number 3. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora has been delayed. This comes from Joe Screbbles at IGN. Ubisoft has announced that its upcoming first-person open-world adventure, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, has been delayed to April 2023 at the earliest. Revealed as part of Ubisoft's Q1 earnings report, the game was delayed into Ubisoft's 2023 to 2024 financial year, which begins next April. No more specific release timeframe was given. No reasoning was given for the delay. Ubisoft did say, quote, "We're committed to delivering a cutting-edge immersive experience that takes full advantage of next-gen technology, as this amazing global entertainment brand represents a major multi-year opportunity for Ubisoft," end quote. The company also confirmed that a smaller unannounced premium game had also been delayed out of this financial year and into the next. It joins a huge list of games delayed out of 2022 and into 2023, primarily due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And then as a follow-up to that, I believe there is a Ubisoft financial call that has been going on this morning. Stephen Totillo from Kotaku, Polygon, I actually forget which. I'm sorry, Stephen. Formerly of Kotaku, tweeted out, Ubisoft has canceled, I think he's actually at Axios now I think about it. Ubisoft has canceled development of Splinter Cell VR and Ghost Recon Frontline and 2 other unannounced video games. The hits keep coming, Tim, for Ubisoft.
They do. And again, we've been talking a lot about it.
That's coming up in September.
Yeah, okay, so I guess we're a little over a month away. But we were talking about like what's going to be there, and we were talking about Avatar specifically, and like when is it going to hit? I'm not surprised by any of this news. I think that this is all in line with what we've been saying, which is Ubisoft is in a very unfortunate. This is a mess right now, and it just doesn't instill faith in me that we haven't seen anything for it. We've only seen delays.
Yeah, I mean, what does this do for you with Avatar? Do for you in terms of Ubisoft like making an Avatar game and like trying to actually put it out and not being able to do it?
Align it with the movie's launch, right? Like I think that Avatar, decades later, it actually happens. But Avatar is one of those rare scenarios where 2009, the movie comes out, and they're almost immediately talking about sequels, and it's a no, this is actually happening type thing. And here we are, it's happening, and it's going to be happening for the next couple of years, where we have Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5 coming out every other year until it's like it's going to happen at this point, right?
Have they shot anything in past the second movie?
Oh, I guess I don't know. I actually don't know about all that, but it sounds like they at least have a track
they want it to happen.
They're on, and they want it, and it's going to make a lot of money. It's probably not going to be these giant franchises. So with that, I think that this coming out sometime next year, if there's so many ifs there that I have no confidence. But again, I feel like it's silly to shit on this right now because we don't even know what it is.
That's the thing is,
Alive You're Wrong chat is telling me that they did shoot 2 and 3 at the same time.
Oh, there you go. Or what that is. I think for me, it's the fact that there are so many moving parts to this, and they're delaying it because they don't want it to come out bad, right? And I'm sure they don't want it to come out bad because this isn't just a Ubisoft game. This is a Ubisoft licensed Avatar game that they're working with. It's Disney, right? That owns Avatar. It's always hard to keep track.
It was Fox.
Was Fox, yeah. But yeah, it's them, and like I question its existence because like when that first Avatar came out, it's a movie, like it is, a technically impressive, like did what it did, but I don't know any Avatar fan. I don't know anybody who's like, I need Avatar 2. I can't wait for Avatar. Like, I've never met that person unless it's The Last Airbender.
Yeah. I mean, that existed then in 2009. Like, okay. it was not it because that's what happens with popular things, but it was Avatar mania. Motherfuckers are getting full body tattoos of these damn Na'vi and all that shit. But here we are a decade later, over a decade.
And so, like, I think it's going to take the movie bringing it back, which I'm sure it can, because it's Disney. It's big wave of that movie in order to hit success. And again, it's too many ifs.
A lot of ifs there. It is one of the best lands in a Disney park, period. And it doesn't matter that nobody gives a shit that. It could work if the game is good and if so many ifs. The world of the ifs, everybody.
I'm more and more convinced that the Avatar fans are just sleeper agents that have been nerd.
Honestly, I am an Avatar fan too. I know people know that already, but I saw that movie 3 times in theaters. 3 fucking times. This is James Cameron, man. James goddamn Cameron. Okay.
Avatar,
the greatest pioneer,
the blue people Avatar. Let me tell you about my movie. Came out on my 16th birthday, and let me tell you, that was the worst birthday of all time. We all left that theater so depressed and so done. And then we went to Dairy Queen, and then I remembered that I was lactose intolerant at that Dairy Queen. Smaller, unannounced premium game that was delayed out of this financial year, I think is interesting as well, because I don't know if any of us get an announcement at Ubisoft Forward still, but we'll have to wait and see. Splinter Cell VR also getting canceled. Another L for the Splinter Cell fans.
We're so sorry, Roger.
Pour one out. We're so sorry, Roger. And then like Ghost Recon.
What is Ubisoft, man?
What is going on?
What is it?
December Ubisoft Forward ignites some hope and excitement.
Someone, who was it? Chun in the chat says Assassin's Creed Rift was rumored to be late this year or early next. Ooh. That was the one with
good cost living in the digital world of GTA Online, as intense heat waves and soaring gas prices will Enterprise's update. Rockstar is adding a new series of missions that if players can run missions to keep the booze and money. Oh yeah,
GTA, man, they're just out here.
It keeps going.
Updates. They just keep going and going and going. Good for them, man. I can't.
And they made it, and I played the hell out of it. This new update I think sounds really cool. I don't know if I'm gonna go back for it. Right, it's so old now. We're talking about a game that came out originally in 2013, and when you go back to it, even with the PS5 update, I think there's those elements of that game types of expansions to get me back. Like, not every expansion is gonna be for me. Last year, they added like a Midnight Club type style racing mode. They added in new car customization, a lot of the things that speak to me in GTA games, and that got me back in heavy. But then there was the there was the Dr. Dre one that got me back in. Yeah, and I fucking love that one as well. But after a few days, I was kind of like, nah, it's more GTA Online. That said, the trailer looks pretty cool. It seems like you're gonna get more story stuff, which seems exciting. And yeah, like if you're somebody who's still playing GTA Online, you're gaming real hard. Let's hop into story number 5. Detroit Become Human is becoming a manga. This is Ryan Dinsdale at IGN. Detroit Become Human is getting a manga adaptation in Japan with a story set in Tokyo at the same time period as the game. As reported by Famitsu, Detroit Become Human Tokyo Stories is being written by Saru Watari Kazami and drawn by Moto Sumitsu in Feelings. Unlike Detroit Become Human, however, Tokyo Stories focuses on smoother integration of disrupted by a rogue android that gains sentience. And Tim, here's what I have to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit Become Human Tokyo Stories. Why not call it Tokyo Become Human?
Become Human. That is a good question.
It bothers me a lot. This naming scheme.
This is so funny though, because like this seems like a Mad Lib story. Like it just seems like a bunch of like random words being put together. Where I'm like, this seems so random. I would have never seen this coming. Having said that, I'm not surprised. This could be cool.
Honestly, this sounds really cool.
Right, but yeah, this is just so weird.
Sorry, does it say who's writing it? Bless.
Written by Saru Watari Kazami.
Okay.
Mangaka.
Okay.
I don't know what they've worked on in the past.
So yeah, like an actual mangaka, not David.
But
Cage.
It's not David. No, it's not David.
Okay.
David Cage is not writing a manga.
It actually have potential, which is nice.
100%. And that's my thing is, Detroit Become Human, I think it's such a visually, it's a really good looking game, and I think has a lot of dope style to it. And I think some of the stuff it sets up with this world can be interesting. And the story that we got in Detroit Become Human, I don't think explored that well enough. The idea of a separate writer turning it into a manga and making it about this idol in Japan, for me, sounds fascinating. I think that is going to be a better, a good take on what Detroit Become Human is, even though part of Detroit Become Human is that it took place in Detroit. Why not call it Tokyo Become Human?
It's just, this is so funny to me, even just timing. Like, if this were to have happened a couple of years ago, it'd make a little more sense, but it's like, all right, cool.
The game came out 4 years ago and has not had an update. No DLC, no spin-offs. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a manga.
Cool.
It's like
Why
someone
not?
in chat earlier was talking about Agent of Mayhem having a board game, you know? Who makes these decisions?
But like, did that come out? Like, when did that come out? Because you told me Agents of
idea.
Mayhem got a board game years after Agents of Mayhem. I'm calling up somebody at Volition, being like, "Yo, who's taking you hostage? What signal are you trying to send out to the world?" Next news story number 6: Minecraft bans NFTs and blockchain. This is Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. While the whole NFT thing appears to be mercifully on the decline, there are still companies out there, like Square Enix, trying to justify partnering with technology that exists solely as an enormous scam. Mojang is clearly not one of them. In a lengthy statement published on Minecraft's site, the team goes into great detail explaining both why they haven't embraced this technology to date and why they've taken steps to ban any implementation of anything blockchain related in Minecraft, while including a brief caveat saying, hey, if blockchain ever can improve, if blockchain can't ever prove it's anything other than a huge grift, then maybe we'll look at it. The bulk of the post attacks the text for their promotion of, quote, digital ownership based on scarcity and exclusion, which does not align with Minecraft values of creative inclusion and playing together, end quote. It also lays out why blockchain tech and NFTs have been outlawed throughout the game, saying, quote, to ensure that Minecraft players have a safe and inclusive experience, blockchain technologies are not permitted to be integrated inside our client and server applications, nor may Minecraft in-game content such as worlds, skins, personal items, or other mods be utilized by blockchain technology to create scarce digital asset, end quote. You can read the full policy on their website. Good guy, Minecraft.
Good guy, Minecraft. What a story. Like, what a world. Like, Minecraft was not always the good guy. So it's always important to note that situations can change. People in control aren't always evil. And it's like, there are people listening and there are people that care, and you got to support the people that care. Always look for the people that care.
100%.
I was trying to look for the tweet, but there's someone shared it last night of someone tweeting at Minecraft saying, I don't think you should have a say in what happens in Minecraft or not, which I just thought was the funniest thing.
That's so funny.
Blockchain bro being really upset about that. So you love to see it.
That's so funny. And also, like, you know, to the point of Minecraft being Minecraft probably is a game that I could see a lot of grifters seeing in terms of opportunity. Like, Minecraft is a game that people theoretically live in, right? Like, people build in there. There are so many custom art and so many custom assets that people make in there, and it is probably rife with opportunity for NFT and blockchain implementation. So for them to come out and go, no, like, we don't need the fucking, like, the scam money. We don't need the grifters. Minecraft is fine without that shit. I think it's a powerful statement.
They, like, actually call out like the grifting and stuff for that whole situation, I thought was pretty impressive for a company to actually say that.
Yeah, especially like a company that is, you know, Minecraft, which is ran by Mojang, which is owned by Microsoft, right? Like, a company of that scope. I think that you know, that goes places, right? I think that is worth something. And so shout out once again to Minecraft. Last story for the Roper Report, story number 7. The Mortal Kombat movie sequel is officially in the works. This is Justin Kroll at Deadline. After the most recent Mortal Kombat pick overachieved at box office, New Line is ready to get back into the arena on a sequel. Sources tell Deadline that Simon McQuoid is set to return as director for the follow-up to the 2021 action-adventure hit. Mortal Kombat was McQuoid's featured directorial debut and was released simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max during the pandemic in April 2021. The feature opened #1 at the box office and ranks among the top feature titles ever on HBO Max since the platform launched. Execs were quick to get a sequel in development, and one of the first orders of business was bringing McQuoid back to direct. Congrats to Simon McQuoid, the director, on getting another shot. Please make The Miz Johnny Cage.
Please do it. Just do it. I'm excited about this. I liked the last movie enough. It wasn't great, but it was fun. They should have used the music more, but it did include one of my favorite movie scenes of all time when he goes, oh, this is my favorite part. He's about to get his soul sucked. That shit
That-
fucking
goddamn.
was so good, dude. Remember when we watched that in this room and had such a
Yes.
good time?
That's the thing
Oh,
is that movie is not a great movie, but it is a fun movie. And
Mhm.
at this point, I'm down for that to be Mortal Kombat. I don't think Mortal Kombat needs a masterpiece. I think it just needs to be a fun, entertaining time. And that's what Mortal Kombat movies have always been. Even the worst ones, even Mortal Kombat
Annihilation.
2, Annihilation.
Balls of
That
Fury.
movie, one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen in my life. Had a fun time watching it. Had a great time watching it for in review. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to what this next thing is. I'm excited. Hopefully they do bring in Johnny Cage because I guess I won't spoil anything. But yeah, I want Johnny Cage in there. And yes, make better utilization of the music. And also maybe get rid of the Arcana thing where like you get your powers through like this fucking weird activation as opposed
Here's
to
my
actually
thing. I
having
like that.
backstories for the characters.
I like the getting the power thing and unleashing the power. I love that. I think it works way better as the movie plot of a Mortal Kombat than some of the backstories these characters have. Having said that, we didn't need a shitty OC to be the main character. Like,
yeah, that's the other thing.
That now was the biggest problem. Like, what are you doing? You have so many great characters to use, and you go with this loser. Come on.
Like the best thing they could do for Mortal Kombat 2 is make Johnny Cage the main character. And like, yeah, they don't necessarily got to get rid of what was his name, Cole McGrath, something Cole.
Yeah. Wait. No,
it was
no.
not Cole McGrath. Cole McGrath is the
No.
infamous character.
Yeah, Cole. It was Cole though. It was Cole Strauss.
No, that's that's from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Cole Young is what chat's saying.
Cole Young?
Okay.
What an unmemorable name, Cole Young. Listen, you can keep him in the movie, but like, just make Johnny Cage the main character and maybe make him part of the crew or whatever. All right, like, because I like the actor, I think he did a fine job. It's just the writing, man. The writing on Cole was not great. But I digress. Tim, I can't wait to see if Mortal Kombat 2 sticks the landing. But that movie is just so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and grab shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday. Barrett, I sent you a video. If you could please bring it up because it's very, very important.
Yeah,
Do
give
do
me
do
the-
do 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 do.
Yeah, give me just a second here. Changing
Ooh,
windows
I'm very excited to see what this-
here. Then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna play this
Oh
video.
my god.
He's about to get his soul sucked. I love the scream right before this.
Oh man, what a movie!
He's about to get his soul sucked.
I remember us laughing in the theater when they said that. What a fucking movie this is! I kind of wish I saw. Obviously COVID at the time was very like heavy, and so like we couldn't see this in the theater. But like I wish we saw this in the theater at the same time because
Oh.
I wanted to see a bigger audience reactions to some of
Yeah.
the shit people were saying in this movie. This next one, hey, we can probably make our way out to a theater, hopefully, if things are safe. But for now, let's talk about what's out today. Out today, you're getting Bright Memory Infinite for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch. I'm gonna pause there. Did reviews for that game come out? Like that's a game that's been advertised for years that I was kind of looking forward to, and it just came out of nowhere. Has anybody heard anything?
I'm
from Bright
doing
Memory
research.
Infinite? Yeah, Barry, do some research. I want to know what the verdict is. Continuing, Coromon is out for Switch. If you remember, that's like the Pokemon like game.
The
where it's very
evolution
much
to Agumon.
the evolution of Agumon. No, it's very much like it's a Pokemon game, but like they advertise it as, oh no, this Pokemon for the hardcore. So if you're trying to do your Nuzlocke, if you're trying to get like even deeper shiny hunting, that type
Ooh.
of shit, Coromon
Ooh.
has you.
Bless.
What's up?
I've got a question and some answers for you. My first question:
Okay.
Coromon was already out on Steam, correct?
It's been out on Steam for a while.
Have you tried it out on Steam Deck?
I tried it out a little bit on Steam Deck. That was I got it when I first got my Steam Deck, so I had like a group of games. So I was like dipping in between a lot of stuff. Coromon I played probably like 30 minutes of.
But did it seem to run well?
It ran great. Yeah, for sure. It works
I
on
have
Steam
an
Deck.
answer for you. There are reviews out for Bright Memory Infinite, and it's not great. It's not looking good.
Okay, that's what I
on
assumed.
PS5, DualShockers gave it 60, along with PSX Brazil, and then the only other review for PlayStation 5 was PlayStation Lifestyle that gave it a 40. And then I think on Xbox Series X, it was like the Metacritic was a little higher, like 65 or something like that.
Okay. Honestly, for what my time was with Bright Memory, which was like the precursor to Infinite, it's better than what I would have thought, because I did not like Bright Memory. I thought that game was not good whatsoever. And so, Bright Memory Infinite, if that tickles your fancy, boom, go check that one out. To continue on with out today, we got Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp for PC and PS4, X Zodiac for PC. I know that's a Tim Geddes hit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's out today.
What? No,
PC.
it's not.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised you didn't know, because I've been keeping up with this for like the last
Whoa,
week. Yeah,
whoa.
it's out.
How the fuck? I follow them on Twitter. How did I not know this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, early access launch. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. What does that mean? Oh my god, this is the best news ever.
Yeah, man. Get you a Steam Deck.
If y'all don't know Exodiac,
go.
baby, it's like old school Star Fox, and it is awesome.
Yeah, if you're a video watcher, Barrett's showing it on screen right now, and I have it downloaded on my Steam Deck right at this moment. I'm excited to go check it out a little bit. Continuing on, we got Moss Book 2 for MetaQuest, River City Saga 3 Kingdoms for PC and PS4, Sea of Thieves Season 7 for PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Capcom Arcade Second Stadium for Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, Deer Journey for PC, Hell Pie for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, Post Void for PS4, PS5, and Switch, and then Wayward Strand is out today for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PC.
Finally,
and
another Strand
Switch.
game.
Another Strand game, baby.
Kojima.
Not
I'm
the
waiting for
future.
these Strand games. New dates for you. Robo Revenge Squad will launch on Nintendo Switch and Xbox on August 17th. Destiny 2 is getting a showcase on August 23rd. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection launches on August 30th on Steam,
Let's
PS4,
go.
PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Switch. And then Dragon Ball The Breakers launches on October 14th. Let's go. I don't know if that game's going to be good, but it looks fascinating. It is a asymmetrical multiplayer game that takes place in Dragon Ball. It is
All right.
Evolve, but Dragon Ball. Friday the 13th, but Dragon Ball.
Evolution?
Dragon Ball. What was that?
Don't worry
Evolution?
about it. Yeah. You said
You tried.
Evolve. You said Dragon Ball. They're close enough.
Okay. I
Yeah.
see where you're taking the culture. You took us there, Tim.
Yeah,
you took us
I
there.
did. I did. I'm sorry. I'll take us back if you want to go. But...
No, we can
Please,
stay here for a
please
little
take me
bit.
back.
Deal of the day for you. This comes from Wario64. There's a Dragon Quest sale on the US eShop right now for Switch. You can get Dragon Quest 1 for $3.24, 2 for $4.21, and then Dragon Quest 3 for $8.11. So there you go. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/youwrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening later on podcast services around the globe. It's me, BT writes in with a very important correction. Sea of Thieves Season 7 wasn't released today. It was delayed to August 4th. And so don't log in to that game to sail the seven seas looking for Season 7. You will be utterly disappointed. Wait until August 4th for that one. Tomorrow's hosts for Kinda Funny Games Daily go like this. It is Greg and Tam. Greg and Tam. I'm not seeing that pair up a lot, so I'm actually excited for that. Yeah.
I thought you were
Greg
saying
and
my
Tam
name
pair
with like a little fun, but no.
No. This is Greg and Timur Hussein from GameSpot.com and GiantBomb.com. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, after this is Mike, Andy, and Nick having some fun. If you want to catch that stream
Forza
later,
Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC is what they're doing.
Oh, I'm real jealous about that. If you want to catch that stream later, you can subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunnyplays. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindafunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, Game Daily.